I think we've got a quorum, so if you want to get started, that would be fine. Hi Mission Dharma. I'm Catherine, your trusty co-host, and whoops, hold on. I gotta mute the Zoom. The Sorry, I had to mute the live stream because it was echoing me back to myself. Sorry about that, folks. I'm so happy to welcome Stephen Fulder, who is here to guide us tonight from Israel, the other side of the world. It's 4:30 in the morning, his time. So help him wake up. Actually, you're here to help us wake up, I think.
Happily. Great. So thank you, Catherine, and thanks everybody for turning up. I'm the one at 4:30 in the morning over here. I've had my 50 years of practice in the Dharma since my years in India at the end of the 70s. And I've been connecting to Howie over the years, and I've been several times to you, actually, your Sangha in San Francisco live. Over the years, I've done tours in the United States, but I don't know if any of you remember me. Um, so I live in the north of Israel. Don't ask me why. Karma put me there. And I'm not, uh, I didn't flee when the bombs were dropping and so on. And I'm very engaged in peace work in in this part of the world with Palestinians and Israelis. Last 20, 30 years, I've been really hands-on, going all the time to the Palestinian community and working with Israelis and Palestinians, trying to bring them closer together with dialogue and connection and peace walks and all kinds of activities. Um, And I'm an author. I've written a bunch of books, and you can probably, if you open my website, you'll see my books there, Dharma books of different kinds. I have to say that this evening I do feel a little bit a little bit of a mission to bring the pain and the violence that we experience here in the north of Israel, or in Israel, or in the Middle East. Um, as a kind of a teaching in a way, and because the truth is that yes, we're in a hotspot and it's devastating, but I don't really feel that we're alone in the hotspot, and I think that the whole planet is going through devastating difficulty, violence, abuse, insecurity, uncertainty, and that it's affecting all of you in different ways. And so in a way, this evening, I want to bring my experience here, which is perhaps more dramatic, with the bombs falling in the north of Israel. We're a few kilometers away from the Lebanese border. So I've had 2 years, for example, of everyday rockets coming over where I live, plus all around uh, artillery firing from the hills, all around every day, boom, 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 back to the other side. And the devastation and pain at the moment is huge. Um, so I don't want to talk just about us here. I want to see if there is a way that we can, I can bring some lessons from here to help us wherever you are, because we're human beings faced with impossible situations. Um, and as I say, I don't really believe that, although I must say San Francisco is unbelievably great place, and I've been many got Dharma friends there and many times. But San Francisco isn't a bubble separate from the devastation that the planet is facing. And so if I can bring some insights from where I am that would help, that would be great. That's the purpose of this evening, I think. So what I will do is basically we'll start with a meditation, and I'll give a guided meditation. And quite a lot of my interest these days is to use meditation skills and practice as a place of developing powers, not just in a sense mindfulness as being by itself a quality, and it is a quality that's really, really helpful, but to actually focus a little bit on the powers and potentials that come from mindfulness, which we actually need in challenging times. It's in my book, as I say, The Five Powers is one of the books I wrote, and it's about powers that come from awareness and from mindfulness and from paying attention and from loving awareness to our genuine experience. And where do we go with that? What how can it kind of what sort of powers can flower out of that kind of practice? And I think it's important that we pay attention to that in these days. So we'll do a practice now of about 25 minutes or so. Then I'll give a talk, 25 minutes, half an hour. Then I'll give a talk, and then I'll be really delighted if we have some dialogue and questions and interaction, because it's important that we have exchange. Okay, so I hope that's fine with everybody, and let's kick off. Okay. So let's drop into where we are. A movement of dropping, letting go, actively settling. And as we settle, the body naturally settles into where it is. We move into the sense of being here. And I want to give it a flavor that as we arrive to our genuine experience here and now, right now, it's not neutral or technical. It's arriving home. For me, the word home encompasses refuge, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, but a sense of a deep, deep belonging to this moment and this life. So feel really wrapped in the gifts of this moment. Coming home. Aware of the outside world, the sounds, The sense that there is a great earth underneath us that's inviting us, that's holding us. Asking us to surrender. No resistance to this great earth. Which is pulling us right now. And the inner world. We're also at home with ourselves. We collect ourselves. Steady and yet open. The breathing, the breath arriving from the world again, giving us life, very precious each breath. Each breath confirming our relationship between inner world and outer world. We belong to both. Getting closer, the intimacy with this one breath as one moment, which opens in front of us all the changes and dimensions of this one breath. And we can also be aware of the witness, aware of the awareness that is knowing this one breath. The awareness is mixed with the breathing. We know what's happening. And as we get more subtle, we can experience the breath flowing through the body, enlivening the cells and tissues, spreading through the body, without clear boundaries or limits, and our awareness going with it. And I want to introduce one important power and potential sadha in the Pali, trust and confidence, that is built in when we just quietly connect with the basis of our life as we're doing now. Be aware that as we are deeply listening and experiencing this life as it is, without the need to add anything or take anything away or build any story, we are developing trust and intimacy with this life as it is. And we can acknowledge that for a moment as a power and potential that is really helpful for our life. So trust is in the nature of this experience of connecting, of listening, of allowing our experience to be what it is, and embracing our experience fully. And in there is trust, a confidence, a steadiness. And this trust continues even if our mind is full of thought. We trust the mind to be the mind. Thought is the energy or the content of mind, just like sensation is the content of body. We allow the mind to do what it does. Thought arising and passing, just like the breath in and out. And we let it. And in the same way, intimacy with thought also brings us trust. This is the mind right now. It's okay. I can be with it. I can witness the mind just like I'm witnessing the body. and the mind full of its changes and movement, just like the body. And then we choose the body because it's more solid, it's easier for us to stay with awareness. So we choose the body as our territory, as our field. And as we do this, the trust is also clear. And if we have some dukkha somewhere in the body or in the voices within that are a bit unpleasant or difficult, can be pains or stress, can be memories, can be emotions. But here too, we embrace that experience as it is. We get close to it. It's like a crying child in us. We don't reject the child. We give an embrace to the child and listen to what the child is telling us. And again, we're back with trust and closeness. Working with sensations, all the expressions of the bodily life. The hands are telling us what it's like to be a hand. The legs are telling us what it's like to be legs. All the experiences, the pressures, the pleasant and unpleasant. And with curiosity and interest and closeness, we unpack all the mysteries of this bodily life. Again, allow the awareness itself to be part of our experience. We are aware of this body as if the body is filled with awareness like a kind of sack. The awareness is knowing the experience of bodily life, and the two are together, the awareness and the experience, and what it is that we know. And just feel that witnessing itself. And the witness is not entirely neutral. The awareness is kind and brings closeness. It's like an embrace. It's like we are our own mother in a way, embracing ourselves, embracing our life with awareness. So our heart mind, chitta in the Pali, is heart mind, it's not just mind. We can feel that the awareness with which we receive our experience is for it, is a movement for. Being aware that it's a moving field, everything. Nothing is stuck and nothing is fixed. Our experience is like a river with the music of the water flowing by. And if there's something in our heart, a memory, a feeling, something that happened to us today that's still there, see how it's a dynamic experience. Give it space, what's in our heart right now. And let it open and flow past. And as we experience this body, mind, heart, as we experience the experiencer, the knower, the knowing, the awareness itself, get a sense that it's all happening by itself. We're less in charge of things than we think. This sense of being able to step back and allow. One of the key words in practice is allow. We just allow bodily life to express itself, the life of the heart to express itself, the life of the mind to express itself by itself as it is. So we'll take just a couple more minutes of silence. Just get a sense of the stepping back, allowing things to be what they are and to be known. Okay, and we can take a deep breath and breathe out, and slowly, slowly we can open the eyes. Great. So I'm happy to give a talk now, and do bear in mind that I'm happy to receive questions. I'll leave plenty of time for that because I think it's important. And I want to offer some insights from being a kind of long-term Dharma practitioner, in a way, leader here in this part of the world, in the middle of a war zone, on the front lines of conflict. And I have to say that impossible situation here in this part of the world. The unbelievable pain and despair that's going on right now in Gaza, and all the pain that's being felt here underneath in in this part of the Middle East, inside Israel itself. Like, all the young people are in the army, and including my grandsons, those that don't want that not courageous enough to kind of step out, and some do, but some don't. It's really, really very, very difficult. But I do think that I want to bring some lessons from here, because I do think that the world is in growing struggle, and the United States, out in the street where you are, is also not so pleasant, and has been changing. And so there's some questions that we can ask. Do we feel, how do we feel? Do we feel lost or powerless these days? Do we feel that our attention is being hijacked and swept away by the media, by everything else, by what's happening? Do we feel that we're swept away, that we're not sure anymore what to think? Do we find ourselves taking sides? And what does that mean? And blaming this or blaming this side or the other side or them? Do we feel free enough to change views, to ask questions? So there's a lot of questions that come up when things are difficult, like, what about our voice? Where is our voice? Do we have our voice? And what's our responsibility? These are very much alive questions. So in the last, when there were 2 years, as I was saying, I live in the north near Lebanon. So I live in a community that I helped to begin, which is an ecological peace community, Khalil, in the hills of the Galilee. I helped to start it many years ago. And I decided not to leave. A lot of people left when the bombs or the rockets all around and the violence, but I decided to stay. And really just to help feed the animals of the families that went away. And I actually stay where I was. I decided I needed to express equanimity. I need to live right, even in a war zone. And I found two personal difficult experiences. One was soon after October the 7th, when the whole country was swept away in a kind of we language, when I felt huge ignorance. We need to bomb Gaza, bomb the hell out of that place. And everyone was behind it, were justifying it. And I felt that there was a blindness in that. This is not the way we can solve, live a better future. These are not the seeds that we need to plant. But I felt very alone with that, because everyone was saying we have no choice. We're being invaded. And the way I worked with that was actually to find my voice. I had a period when I felt alone. The we language, the us, the justification was everywhere, but I decided I had to find my voice. And that really helped me, and I did. And I've been finding my voice ever since. And the second time that I felt real difficulty was after 2 years of the rockets and the artillery. The artillery is more difficult because it's 20, 30 times a day. Boom, 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 from all the hills around. And there was a certain period after a couple of years when I really felt triggered. It was like, it was biological. Every boom, something happened in my guts, and I felt a bit overwhelmed. And And I have a wonderful daughter that I told her about this, and she said, regard every bang and boom and rocket as a Zen master's stick that's giving you a hit like a Zen master on your shoulder saying, wake up. That was a beautiful piece of advice. And of course, it helped. But to sense that the vulnerability, the fragility, the impossibility uh, of the situation as a wake-up call. And many, many times, one of my Dharma strategies was to see the bigness of things behind human, I would say, fragility, stupidity almost. Like one day, I was looking at the sky and two rockets came up between me and Haifa. They were interceptors, and then there was the explosion. But I was so clear watching the sky that the sky didn't care a damn. The sky wasn't disturbed by human rockets. And I was standing there watching the skies, and the sky was telling me, we're bigger than all of this. And the same with the earth. And I've been I grow my own food, and I have chickens, and I have my life here. So that was a great support. It was, this is ground. The Dharma community, that means that practitioners and the teachers here in Israel have been really, really responding. After October the 7th, 3 years ago, for 3 months, 3 times a day, there was an open online availability 3 times every day for 3 months. Every single day, 3 times a day, the teachers were there online to help people who are struggling and want to have someone to talk to. But we have many, many dilemmas. Of course, the Dharma community, many, many dilemmas. And we issue statements, we have done, of course. How to express as a Dharma community, not in my name. How do we express it? And it has many dimensions to that. So when people ask me, what do I do? What do I do in this time of crisis and division and conflict and war? What do I do? What do I do? What's the best thing to do? From the Dharma point of view, I don't say you have to do A, B, C. Whatever your heart tells you, you should go and do. Listen to your heart. Your heart is telling you. But remember that whatever you do, that you are a big, beautiful soul. I'm telling you guys right now, we are big, beautiful souls. We can see stars. Like my story of the sky above when the rockets were coming. We can know that the sky above is bigger. We can have a hint in us of our big awareness, we can hold infinity in a sense in the palm of our hand. Just think of all the books we've read and all the insights we've had and all the clarity we've had and all the meditations we've done and all the retreats we've done. That's there. And we tend to forget it when things are in crisis. But we really need to kind of go back to basics and feel that we have a basic love and awareness and keep remembering it, and it holds us through. So mindfulness here is not technical at all. It's not something that is a kind of a good basis to start the day. It's much more than that. It's remembering. Actually, the translation of sati, which is in the Pali language, would translate it as mindfulness. Mindfulness is not a good translation. The better translation is presence and remembering, to remember our big soul. And when we do that, our mind will be less stolen. We will not have our attention as easily stolen. We will win it back. We will win back our own awareness, our own attention to what's important, and remember to what's important. And we feel less overwhelmed and more able to come home. And when we do that, this remembering, we'll remember our connection to life through small things, through the way we get up in the morning, through the way we go out in the street, the way we are in wherever we are, San Francisco. We will remember small things that we do. We will remember to grow our vegetables with a big heart. We will celebrate life, never mind everything else that's going on. So meditation for us is a lot more than calming down and settling. I see meditation as an essential power. My book, The Five Powers, talks about this. It changes our basic state of mind and helps us to live differently. So one of the places that we remember when we meditate, memory of trust, living with trust instead of living with anxiety and fear and alarm. It's because we see our life at eye level. Someone, actually a deva, asked the Buddha one time, how there's so much fear, there's so much insecurity about what was and what might be and all the risks of life. How do I cope with the amount of fear that exists? And the Buddha said, only through clarity and awakening are you going to deal with the primal fear. And the Buddha said, be an island to yourself. Learn to be an island in the stormy seas. And how do you do that? By intimacy with this body, intimacy with this moment of our life, intimacy, like I said, with the person you meet in the street and the plants in your window and the sky above and your own body that's breathing. The truth of the Buddha said, be an island to yourself. It's about being aware of emotions, being aware of your bodily life, being aware of your thoughts and your mind, just as it is, without building stories, without building defenses and issues and narratives, things as they are. That's our home. And that way, looking at things as they are, we will be able to be an island in the stormy seas. This trust, we trust life, is very precious. It isn't trusting that things will be better, because we don't know. Who can say? It could be a lot worse. But it's allowing things to be what they are. And its trust is a subtle place saying, I am ready to meet things as they are. It's an atmosphere in the heart. I trust things. I cannot demand that the world will be different. I have to trust this world as it is. I remember my one of my granddaughters, she was really, really upset about global warming early in her life. And just recently I met her again. She said, I said to her, how do you feel about global warming these days? And you look very happy. She said, yes, I'm no longer upset about global warming and about climate change and so on. I'm no longer upset. I said, how's that? And she said, well, I think life I think life is more intelligent than we are. I think life will win out in the end. It will know what to do. We don't know what to do, but life will know what to do. I trust life. It will sort it. It will find a way. It was very sweet. It's that sense of trust and allowing things to be what they are, which we really do need as an attitude. It's not about what will be, but it's an attitude of heart, mind, saying, I'm ready. And we're really going to need that when things get difficult out in the street. Doesn't matter whether we're in Israel or in America. We need to have a sense that, okay, but my attitude of trust is instead of denial and shutting down and constant complaining and blaming and friction and helplessness. We need to find refuge in the listening to what's going on. We need to find refuge in the ground, what arises, the songs of the trees and the plants and the body and the stars at night. These are the gifts. We need to find refuge in that. Where my wife at the moment is pruning olive trees, and still manages. She's 80 years old, and I'm getting there. But she's out there pruning the olive trees. And I talked to her about that, and I said, how do how is it? And she said, how do you manage to prune the olives? And she says, the olive tree tells me what it needs. The olive tree sings its song. I just listen to the olive tree. It tells me this branch is too much like that. This branch goes like this. This branch goes like that. It tells me what to do. She gets some help, of course, but I think that this sense of ground, this sense of listening, this sense of trusting life to be what it is, never mind what happens, is an attitude with which we get up in the morning. Mindfulness really asked us also to deal wisely with our emotional life. We can feel fear. We can feel anxiety. We can feel anger. It's natural. It's okay. But we need to give space to the emotions, to give them space and to see them clearly. And all emotions have layers and they open up to life. Underneath anger, for example, is love. It's love because it's love of wanting something, wanting relationship, of wanting not to be hurt, of wanting connection instead of reaction. There is a beautiful Tibetan, I would say, the Sangha in Israel is that I helped to found. We're a big Sangha, by the way. We have 45 retreats in the year. And it's mostly a Vipassana Sangha, of course, but over the years, I've been quite engaged with Tibetan practice as well. And one beautiful image coming from the Mahamudra tradition is that emotions are like a snake with a jewel in its mouth. For example, anger. It's the snake has a jewel in its mouth. And if you can snatch the jewel, you've got a jewel in your hand and the snake doesn't bite you. And what does that mean? It means to catch the anger as it rises, to see its power and energy and freedom, and to sort of be aware of that anger as it grows, and it doesn't sweep you away, and it doesn't have after effects, so the snake doesn't bite you, and you've got in your hand a jewel, like the famous Zen story of a Zen student that went to his teacher and said, every morning goes to his teacher and knocks on the door, and his teacher gives him teachings. And one day he went to his teacher, and the teacher didn't answer when he knocked on the door. So he knocked again, and the teacher didn't answer. So he knocked again, and the teacher didn't answer. And then the teacher suddenly opened the door and slammed it into his face. And the student suddenly had a surge of anger. And then the teacher opened the door again and said, "Now watch yourself." And there was awakening. So I would say we have to be really aware of emotional life when things are getting difficult and struggle and even violence, and be aware of all the layers under emotional life. Give them space. One of the major sources, and you see it here so clearly in this part of the world, where the armies go bombing people in tents because of fear. The narrative of fear is so strong that it allows armies to throw 2,000-pound bombs on tent encampments with the women and children. Why? Because it's not fear, it's the story behind the story that's built. Revenge, blame, the other, them. If we don't do it, then all the story built around fear. It means instead of actually seeing fear, you use fear to build constructions and stories and the enemy and habits, and then it rolls. Violence rolls. Doesn't matter which side. And in a way, wars are fought from the effort to stop fear rather than by seeing what will be helpful at this moment. Our practice is to be with all those dualities. There was one time when a girl we have a little community in Dharma community, and we had in our village for many years. And one of the girls there that was really deeply engaged in practice, and she was crying, and she said, "I see the beauty. I go out in the morning and see the beauty of the trees and the grass and the nature and the world around. And then there's a rocket come over, and I feel so small and contracted and afraid. And how do I hold them both together?" And my answer is, we need to hold them both together because actually one is not so much against the other. We are Buddhas. We have a Buddha, we are a Buddha nature, but we're also human nature. So the Buddha nature and the human nature need to be in dialogue. They are in dialogue with each other. We need to allow and embrace the human nature, including our fears and including our concerns, and to allow that voice as well, and to say that voice is resting on a bigger space. There is what Tsoknyi Rinpoche says, the beautiful monster of our life, our angers and our fears. They're there. They're underneath them. There is love and there is caring and there is wanting to survive and wanting to help. And then it's expressed as our fears and contracted self. So the duality of bigness and smallness is not really duality. They are both together. Can allow ourselves to be a big person and then a small person. And it's not really a small person. It's once we have a dialogue there of the big person that we are, and then we notice boundaries and limits, we include them, we embrace them. So the big spirit and then we see our boundaries and our protections and so on. And we just have a dialogue between the two. It's really important, I think, to use crises to wake up and not to just sink into despair and difficulty. And one of the comments from the Tibetan tradition is that samsara is not fixable. We can't fix samsara. It's never been fixable. But we can surrender. We can allow things. We can say, okay, it's not fixable, but I am here in the middle of it all. We can let ourselves be shaped by life. It's okay, take me. Here I am. I'll do the best I can. And it may not be possible to do what we want to do. It may not be possible. Samsara is not fixable. The Buddha managed, there was an army that came from a neighboring king that came to invade and basically to massacre the whole of the Buddha's kingdom and people, the Sakyans. 3 times the neighboring king came with an army, and the Buddha managed. That's according to the history text. I can't promise that that's exactly what happened, but the history texts say so. 3 times the Buddha sat in the middle of the road, in front of the army, and radiated metta, and the army stopped and turned back. And the 4th time, the army came, invaded, and slaughtered most of the Buddha's people. And at that time, the 4th time, the Buddha wasn't there. He was with his community. And the monk said to the Buddha, why is it you're not there? Why is it that you're not stopping the army? You stopped it 3 times. And the Buddha said, it's too strong for me. Karma is too strong in this case. I can't do it. Same with the Bhagavad Gita, as you know. Arjuna said, I can't cope with this. Here I am fighting people, my brothers and sisters on the other side. How do I do that? I can't do it. And Krishna said to Arjuna, karma is too strong for you. Nothing to do. So that place, we need to, know that samsara is not fixable. Sometimes all we can do is plant seeds. We keep our point of view of life. We trust life in the end. And we have 2 basic default places in our soul with which we go out into the world. One is equanimity. We need to develop, our practice needs to develop equanimity. I called it a little bit trust, but underneath trust is a sense of equanimity, of steadiness. When this can be external as well as internal. External, in my case, I was going out every day, like I said, when the rockets were all over, growing my vegetables. I have chickens. I would get up in the morning, see my chickens. How are you girls? How are you doing today? And they would go back, "Buck, buck, buck, buck. We're okay, thanks very much." Never mind rockets. And I was growing my vegetables as almost like a kind of external reminder of what's important, of equanimity, of steadiness on the earth. So that can be external, and we do need that. We do need helping other people, being kind to others, making sandwiches for someone that doesn't have food. It doesn't really matter, but that's external. And internal is the kind of meditation that we did today together. The sense of steadiness, the sense of being with what arises, a sense of allowing experience to come and go as it does, including difficulty, including fears and angers and so on. Let them come, let them go. Be with awareness that is trusting and steady and allowing. The second quality is the quality of compassion. I didn't talk so much about it, but it was kind of inbuilt inside what I was saying. We just had an 80th birthday party for my wife, and I read this quote from a Zen quote or a Zen story about a Zen word called robaishin. And this word is a lovely word. It's the compassion of being a grandmother. It's the grandmother mind, robaishin. But it's not just for grandmothers. All of us, we can be a 20-year-old guy. When we get up in the morning, go out in the street in San Francisco or wherever we are, we can go with that robaishin, that grandmother mind. The grandmother mind is the mind, the heart that is caring and doesn't feel so important. Robaishin is the grandmother that sits by the side of the road, that's in the quote, and gives food to people and doesn't have to feel so important and doesn't feel status and doesn't need to be somebody special, but is just generous and open and giving food to others as they need. So compassion is that sense of responding to the need of the world without needing to be somebody to do that, to have a status or I am giving or anything like that. It's just natural from the heart. We give to where we can. We offer where we can. From those powers of equanimity and compassion, we plant the seeds that we can plant in life. And that is it. We can't do more than that. And then we have to go home and rest. So I want to finish with a couple of poems from the Palestinian community, actually. One is Mahmoud Darwish, that is one of the key Palestinian poets who died some time back. It's called Thinking of Others. As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. And don't forget the food for the pigeons, my chickens. As you conduct your wars, think of others. Don't forget those who seek peace. As you pay your water bill, think of others, those who are nursed by clouds. As you return home to your home, think of others. Don't forget the people of the camps. As you sleep and count the stars, think of others, those who have nowhere to sleep. As you liberate yourself in images and metaphors, think of others, those who have lost the right to speak. But as you think of others far away, think of yourself and say, if only I were a candle in the dark. And one last little poem, also from a Palestinian American poet called Naomi Nye, Shihab Nye. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it, so your voice catches the thread of all sorrows, and you see the size of the cloth, and then only kindness makes sense. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to get bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, it is I you have been looking for. and then it goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend. Okay, thank you very much. So I'd be really happy for any questions, anything at all that you feel like answering is okay, completely all right. So I'm really happy. And if you, best is if you could just raise your hand and ask. And Catherine is there to help if needed.
That's Noemi.
Yeah, Naomi. Yeah, go ahead.
Just wanted to say thank you very much. I really appreciated your talk, and also thank you for both poems. I know the work of Naomi. She had and she's one of my favorite poets. Um, but I think it's good how to be in the middle of what you're in the middle of and being in equanimity. I like your example of the sky and the earth. And I just wanted to say thank you. And life goes on even if all of this pain is happening. What is that line? To know kindness, you need to know sorrow. That's so beautiful. And
It
I
is
want
so.
to say thank you. So thank you. I have no questions, but I really enjoy your equanimity. And thank you for sharing.
Naomi, thank you so much. It touches my heart what you said, and I am touched by what you said, and yeah, I'm receive your thanks. I receive your gratitude, and it sits in my heart. Thank you so much.
I'm not able to raise my hand as the host, so I'm going to raise my real hand.
Great.
I wondered if you could talk a little bit about finding your voice, because I think many of us feel powerless and unsure what to do. I mean, we get in the streets, we demonstrate, we call our members of Congress, we're using our voices in these kind of established ways, and it doesn't seem to be making any difference. Our president is still invading other countries and worse. So, yeah, I wonder if you could just talk a little bit more about finding our voices.
Yeah, it's important. I think I think that it's about authenticity. You cannot assume that your voice will have a result. You have to let go. Karma will not allow you to say, if I'm writing to my congressman, then something will happen. Karma will not allow you to go to that place. But you can't do anything else. You have to write to your congressman. You have to do it. Finding your voice is a sense of rightness I am authentically expressing what I can in this life, and that is what I can do. And you have to trust that place in yourself and say, this is what I can do. And I think it's much more an internal process of also of not allowing voices to shut us up, because there's so many voices. This is not politically correct. Now, I'll give you an example in my my life. I gave it before, but I just want to say it again and be more exact. What I found really, really difficult after October the 7th, when indeed more than 1,000 Israelis and many young people were killed in the south by Hamas. And the reaction was, we have to invade them, we have to smash them, we have to attack them, we have to, and so on and so on and so on. And my own view was that this is a result of a sickness in the whole area of unsolved. Peace was never made. Peace was never invested in. No investment made in peace. Plenty of investment in weapons and war and defenses and so on. So I felt it was, we needed to wake up at that point. That the invasion of the south of Israel was a wake-up call. We needed to wake up. But I was hearing everywhere around me this language, we have to get them, we have to get them back, we have to defend ourselves. And including in Dharma friends was beginning to speak that language, and that I found really difficult. It's instead of a wake-up call, it was dropping bombs on people is possible. Is we have to do. We have no choice, and I think there are other choices. So I felt alone at that point, especially when people, kind of spiritual friends of mine, were saying that language, so that we all got swept away. And then I decided, wait a minute, I'm going to say my truth. Never mind I will say my truth. I will not shut up. I will say this is not the way that peace is going to be made. This is not a way to save more lives. This is not a way that we can have a good future. And I started to talk more and to write. And I mean, I have many articles and YouTube talks. You can all look them up. Just look me up and you'll see, I have stacks of talks and so on out there. So it's that sense that being authentic to your truth, that's what you can do, but you cannot expect it to make a result, because that's beyond our capacity. Karma is bigger than that. I did 20, 30 years of peace work and you could say I failed completely because it's much worse than ever has been before. No, I didn't fail. I made a difference to this boy, this Palestinian kid. I made a difference to that Israeli soldier that came and sat with Palestinians and was changed completely because of that experience. I made a difference in that moment. I made a difference in that, and that's what happened. And it's not in my hands. So we need to let go of that sense that we expect results, but the flow of our voice, let it flow, and then we feel okay with that, and then we go, as I say, we go home and rest. Yeah, Mary, go ahead.
You're muted, Mary.
I clicked the
Okay.
wrong. Sorry about that. Well, first of all, I really want to thank you very much. This was a very interesting talk tonight and very helpful. And the last person's questions, I think that was yours, was thank you also. That was very helpful. Because it's a very challenging time right now in the country. And I really related to what you said. Sometimes it feels like we're doing everything or a lot of what we can personally, maybe not as much as we could, but a lot, and doesn't seem to be having that much of an effect. And also, I'm Jewish, and the situation in Israel has been very painful for me also because I felt just like you, not in my name. To me, it is damaging to the Jewish people, what's going on, as well as obviously the Palestinian people. And, I think you're so right. All of these conflicts, or whether it's in our country or in the Middle East, a lot of it is that people are afraid. And then it's just very sad. Everything that's going on is a really hard time. And sometimes I do get feedback from Jewish people that don't like my position. I try to explain I don't see being against what's going on there as anti-Semitic or betrayal or whatever. And the same thing in this country. It's because I also love my country that I'm protesting and fighting for it. So, but I also was saying something to somebody the other day. I was thinking about or read something about a bunch of resistance people in World War II, and just that they did not know the outcome. I mean, we know it because we're looking back, but they really did not know what was going to happen, and it was even more dire. And so we do have to, that was sort of my conclusion. We have to just keep speaking up and doing what we can do. And I have some friends, like one who just had a stroke, and he has just stopped watching any news or anything. And that's the right thing for him to do, because he needs to take care of himself and not be, as it's everything going on is very upsetting. So we each have a different level of what is right for us to do. And, but we don't know what effect that will have, but we still have to do our best and be helpful or have some faith, I suppose, that someday we will get through these conflicts. So, but I thank you so much for sharing. It was very helpful. And I thank you for your question. That was very helpful for me also. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. It's true what you say, Mary, that it's not in our hands. And I think sometimes we need to cry. It's okay. And say, look, it's too much.
It is. Yes, I agree on that.
And then we go out and be us. And I think that the key, because of what I was saying at the beginning of my talk, so many people saying, what do I do? What do I do? Be the biggest person that we can be. There isn't another answer. And at that moment, and our biggest person that we can be is also telling us, our heart will tell us, we go out and do this, or we do not go out and do this, or we go out and do something else. Your friend that had a stroke, his heart told him, it's damaging. I can't listen to any more media. That's his heart telling him. He's listened to his heart. He's saying, this is right for me. So we don't have it. I'll give you a small example. A month ago, I was leading a peace walk with Palestinians and Israelis in the Christian town of Nazareth. And quite a few Palestinian friends of mine were saying, this isn't the time for peace walks. This is the time we have to try and save lives. If we can save one life or one child in Gaza, that we have to save lives. This is not the time of nice peace walks with Israelis and Palestinians walking together. And I didn't quite agree. I understood that point of view. I didn't quite agree. And I went on the walk and I was leading it. And when I was on the walk itself, I understood why we needed this walk, because it fed the heart of everybody there. The peace walk worked as a sense of support and a sense of there is another way of doing things, and a sense of I would say encouragement. And then from that encouragement, people can go out and try and save lives. But they need the encouragement. So I understood why we need a peace walk. And it's very much what you're saying, Mary. We need the encouragement, and then we go out and do the best, what's in our heart. We listen to our heart, and we go out.
And I like that you said, and then we go home and rest, because I have found that it's like I sometimes just do feel overwhelmed, and that's when I need to rest.
Yeah,
then
exactly.
Come back. But I was thinking of the when you described your peace walk, of the Buddhist walk right now across the country, and how that has moved and touched so many people. So sometimes we don't realize something more simple and truly heartfelt has such a great effect. So thank you again.
Yes, Heidi.
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to say how much I've appreciated hearing from you tonight and all of the discussion and things that everyone else has shared also. I think it's really profound to have this conversation with you in the setting that you're in, and I guess that we're all in. So I really appreciate the conversation tonight. I'm thinking about what you're saying about how we have to let go of expecting certain results, and it's something I struggle with in my personal life, having two children with a very rare progressive fatal disease, and really working to try to change the outcome of that. And I would just love to hear, in the context of how we're talking about this in a much broader way, and the experience that you're living with in Israel. How do you think about hope and how that differs from, really expecting, of letting go of, expectations? I really struggle with the difference there, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. You feel like
Thank you. It's a very good
about that also.
It's a very good question, Heidi. Thanks a lot for that question. Hope is based on positivity in the heart. When this positivity in the heart goes into the person, that means you, Heidi, me, Stephen, Mary, and all of us, the person, then the person translates the positivity into the heart and wants an outcome that's provable, that makes me feel okay. So that the positivity in the heart, when it's wrapped in a kind of personhood in the self, it goes to, I want proof. I want things to be better. I want less pain. I want to know that things are going to be better. And then I'll have hope. What I think is we need to kind of go back a bit and see hope as being the basic positive energy of the heart that loves life, that is full of life, and that is radiating positivity in everything that we do. And limit it there, because if we bring that positive energy of the heart into, I will have hope as long as there's a positive outcome. And if the outcome isn't positive, then my hope collapses. I think that we should understand that that's in the level of the person and not in the level so much of the positive heart. So step back into the positivity of the heart and know that, and trusting your heart to be fully there with goodness and good energy and giving what we can. But like us, the story of the Buddha and the war, we are not in charge of karma. So there's a place of wisdom there that will allow the unknown, the uncertainty of life to be there. We cannot fight that. Otherwise, our hope is always going to be sacrificed to circumstances. So I would say retranslate hope as fundamental positive energy of the heart that is manifest in life. And that's my hope. It's in the now, and it's always there, and circumstances cannot stop it. Great. So I think we have to finish at this point. I did write my email, my website in the chat. All of you anyway can just look up Stephen Fulder with a PH, stephenfulder.com, and my books are there, and there's courses there, and I have hundreds and hundreds of talks on Spotify and Apple podcasts. I have hundreds of talks and guided meditations and courses on Insight Timer and so on. You can find me if you quite easily. Okay, Catherine, over to you.
Stephen, thank you so much. This has been just so profoundly wonderful. Thank you. So everyone, I have put information on how to offer Dana in the chat, and your generosity is appreciated and is shared with any teacher who sits on the cushion to teach us. So all that information is in the chat, and thank you for your generosity. Howie has 3 retreats upcoming. None of them are in the San Francisco Bay Area. You can find information on those retreats in our weekly newsletter or on the Mission Dharma website. Thank you. Thanks everyone for coming tonight.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Lovely to see
Thank
you
you,
all.
Stephen.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you,
everybody
Stephen.
for being here.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Good night,
Thank
everyone.
Thank you.
Good
night.
Everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Bye.
night.
Stay safe, Stephen.
Thank you,
Good night,
Catherine.
everyone.